Chalo. Hello students, welcome to Ekam Academy. In this session, we'll cover the current affairs that were in news in the last 1 week or so. We'll try to cover all those topics. Okay? So, there is a list of current affairs that we are going to cover in the next 2.5 hours, and at the end of it, we'll try to pick up some questions from these topics only for our mains discussions. Okay? Mains answer writing discussions. So, certain topics that are in news, there was a topic related to dark patterns that was in news, external debt, because a report has come wherein India's increasing external debt, the government is talking about that. We will see various dimensions, we will go back to our concepts also, external debt and all. Credit information companies, we generally speak about the international credit rating agencies only, but we miss out on the Indian credit rating agencies. So, in this article we will talk about, because RBI has very recently warned somebody against certain credit companies. Okay? So, we will talk about that issue. Criminalization of politics, the oldest issue of all the issues in this country, in many countries also, but in India it is a special concern, because as per the latest reports, 43% of our representatives have criminal charges against them. Okay? So, we will try to talk about, we will try to write a mains answer. अच्छा, पुरानी फौज ये बताओ, what is the difference between the Representation of People Act 1950 and the Representations of People Act 1951? What is the difference? कौन बताएगा? Question ఎంతమందికి అర్థమైంది? My question is simple. When there is, why two different acts? What is the difference between the Representation of People Act 1950, Representations of People Act 1951? What is the difference? Why two acts? What is what meant for? What is what meant for? 1950 का purpose क्या है? 1951 का purpose क्या है? What is the purpose of two different acts? Come on. हाँ, लावण्या. कौन बताएगा? दयाकर. अच्छा गाना है यार. हाँ. What is the difference between the two acts? 1950. What is 1950 trying to talk about? See, if you have to do a broad differentiation between the two acts, 1950 is talking before the elections, whatever generally related to before the elections, like how many seats for legislative assemblies, how many seats for the Lok Sabha, delimitation commission, all this before the conduct of the elections comes under 1950 Act. The process of conduct of the elections, the dimensions related to qualification, disqualification of the MLAs and the MPs comes under 1951. So, 1951 is more specific with respect to conduct of the elections. 1951 is a broader 1950 is a broader concept, where it is talking about delimitation commission is a very wide area, right? So, understand the essence of the acts are different. We will talk about that when we talk about this. Now, tell me, the provisions related to criminalization of politics would be in which act? 51. 51. Conduct of elections, then I made a statement, qualification and disqualification of the members. So, now internationalization of rupee, this has also been in news for some time. We will talk about. Achha, कौन बताएगा? What is the purpose of internationalizing rupee? What is the purpose? Don't tell me the process. That is the meaning of the sentence. I am asking the purpose. अगर तुम्हारा करेंसी इंटरनेशनल करेंसी हो गया तो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट कैसा होगा? इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, फॉर इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट टू हैपन, द इन्वेस्टमेंट शुड कम, देयर शुड बी अ पॉजिटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट एटमॉस्फेयर, the capacity to grow, political stability, all these things should be there, no? So, why we are targeting internationalization of rupee is my question. What are we aspiring to gain by internationalizing the rupee? Bigger picture, I want the bigger picture. Balance of power. बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रही है. हाँ? अच्छा, now tell me, Do you mean to say that Indian currency is not being accepted anywhere else? नेपाल में चलता है, भूटान में चलता है, सिंगापुर में चलता है, certain other Middle East countries में भी चलता है. When it is already accepted, why are we harping upon this internationalization of rupee? Are we ready in the first place? No, you are not ready. So when will you be ready? 6:30 evening? Now you tell me, when I want to internationalize rupee, what is the biggest drawback of it? Drawback क्या होगा? कैसे? Prove it. We'll have a kushti fight. जो जीतेगा वही बोलेगा. हाँ, बोल. हाँ. నిజంగా కొట్టుకుంటున్నారు వీళ్ళు. And I like it. See, ideological clash is always accepted. See, Rahul, biggest problem with internationalizing rupee. What you feel? What would be the biggest problem with internationalizing rupee? If the economy is not stable, it will depreciate the currency. मैं समझा नहीं. Less investments in the country. ये internationalization करने से थोड़ी ना फर्क आएगा इसमें. The biggest drawback and the purpose, two things I am asking. What is the purpose of internationalizing the rupee? Asha, what is the purpose of internationalizing the rupee? నేను డిప్రిసియేషన్ గురించి మాట్లాడలేదు. I am talking about internationalizing rupee. What is the purpose? If you are putting sanctions, my exchange of dollar is not happening to affect a trade with any country. So Russia is also talking on the same lines. If you remember BRICS ka, when I spoke about BRICS bank, I said they are also talking about something similar to SWIFT. SWIFT was Society for Worldwide International Financial Telecommunications. Russia proposed something on these lines. When a country is kept under sanctions, the SWIFT account is blocked. It means no international trade exchanges can happen. So Russia proposed we need to have a parallel SWIFT system. Even if you are under US sanctions, those sanctions will not be effective on them. Getting it? So try to understand the bigger purpose is, in future if at all America tries to control India using the weapon of dollar, we would not be influenced by it, because by that time many of the countries would have accepted Indian currency as a legal tender in the international market. Two advantages. One, even in case of a sanction, your trade with a particular country is not disturbed. Now while trading with Iran, US gave us special window of exemption. The world is not trading with Iran today. There are exceptions given. Countries like India, we are still trading with Iran in oil and lubricants, right? Now had this exception not been given, can India trade with Iran? No. Now the exception is required because India is dealing in dollar with Iran. If I am dealing in rupees with Iran, is there any need to exchange my currency with anything? No. But the bigger question is, who will accept India's currency as international? You need to concentrate on this. Who is valuing your currency is the bigger question. I have a desire to internationalize my rupee, but you know the equations of supply, demand and price. The three market determinants, no? Demand, supply and price. For example, demand, supply and price. Now that everybody had a basic economics class, if the demand remains constant, if the demand increases, for example, if the demand increases, supply remains constant, The commodity here is a currency, any currency for that matter. I am talking about the demand of the currency in the international market. The demand has increased, supply remained constant, the price value of the currency will go high, it will go high because the demand has increased and the supply has not increased in consultation with the demand, right. Demand has reduced, supply has increased. What will happen to the currency value? It will decrease. Now tell me, what are the factors that will increase the demand of the currency or reduce the demand of the currency? That you need to understand. When you talk about internationalization of the rupee, first question is, who is ready to accept my currency as an international currency? If that country is some grade 4, grade 5 country, does it have value? Because the volume of trade will be very less. But if a country like America, if a country like Japan, if a country like Europe, any country in the Western European countries, if they accept, obviously the acceptance of my currency will increase. Now, if the acceptance of my currency increases, it means the demand will increase, and if I controllably regulate the supply, what will happen to the value? Understand? So, but if the demand is less, you are ready to do internationalization of your currency, what will happen to the value of your currency? It will fall. See, whenever your own currency is also the international currency, then what happens is the monetary policy committee has two different roles. The supply of your currency in the international market, the supply of your currency in the local domestic market. So, the complexity of the work of the monetary policy will increase. We will talk about certain other dimensions also when the topic comes. Data protection bill, again 5-6 years ka topic hai. We will try to consolidate in the least possible time. High Seas Treaty, High Seas Treaty is related to High Seas Treaty is related to UN clause के दो existing treaties का नाम बताओ. अरे अंदरनी लाइन గా నించబెట్టి కాల్ చేస్తా యూట్యూబ్ లో లైవ్ పెట్టి మరి లైక్స్ అని వస్తాయి. Two entities created by the UN clause. Good. విజయ్ సార్ ఇక్కడ నిల్చొని చెప్పిండు మీకు. Something related to fish. चलो नेक्स्ट, तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. नेक्स्ट इज द ग्लोबल पीस इंडेक्स. अच्छा, ग्लोबल पीस इंडेक्स इज रिलीज्ड बाय whom? ग्लोबल पीस इंडेक्स इज रिलीज्ड बाय, ओपन करो आर्टिकल ओपन करो. ग्लोबल पीस इंडेक्स इज रिलीज. अरे उसमें हार्ड कॉपी भी है, गो एंड गेट दी हार्ड कॉपी. వాడు పెట్టడం కూడా ఎట్లా పెడతాడంటే ఎవరు కనిపించకుండా పెడతాడు, అది వాడి టాలెంట్. గ్లోబల్ పీస్ ఇండెక్స్ ఈజ్ రిలీజ్డ్ బై యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఫర్ Institute for Economics and Peace. Now tell me, what is this fellow doing in this? अरे कुछ समझ में आ रहा है लिंक? My question is, it should have been Institute for Peace, no? Why is he Institute for Economics and Peace? What is the idea? What is the message? It means there is a direct correlation between the two. Direct correlation between the two. And for this, people have disturbed this. Understand that importantly. For this, economics means for this people have disturbed this. If you do not have an issue with Pakistan, China, will you buy Rafale? Will you buy BrahMos? Will you increase the army strength? Will you do theaterization of command? You will not do all these things. All these things entail what? Cost to the government. It means to ensure peace, this is involved. If I want this should not be there. अरे समझ में आ रहा है? बिजनेस के चक्कर में पीस की डैश हो रही है ना? चलो, अंडरस्टैंड दैट. एज फ्यूचर ब्यूरोक्रेट्स यू शुड हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ दैट. अच्छा, डार्क पैटर्न्स. हाँ, कौन है टेकोस? डार्क पैटर्न అంటే ఏంటి? What is a dark pattern? Layman's language. Dark pattern. How many of you are hearing this word for the first time? Almost all of you. Almost all of you. Dark pattern. See, you see the YouTube, what do you call them? Shorts. While the video is coming, a background voice will come. If you love your mother, सब्सक्राइब एंड प्रेस दी बेल आइकन. और बोलते हैं ना, अगर आप अपनी माँ से सच में प्यार करते हो तो, अरे यस और नो? डार्क पैटर्न. क्लासिक एग्जांपल ऑफ डार्क पैटर्न. in there is very beautiful when you switch on the Tata Sky, if you go to the default channel, Naptol and all that's happening. Last 20 seconds left, order now. So he is pressurizing you to take a decision when you are not ready to take a decision. So that is called basically your dark pattern. It means a situation where a consumer or a probable person who is willing to buy a product is put in a fixed situation where you are forcing that individual to take instant decision, and the decision should be in favor of the person who is instigating him to take the decision. You remember the difference between propaganda and persuasion and propaganda. So what is this extreme level of persuasion? Nothing but your dark pattern. See, whenever, listen, not necessarily economics only, in life also, if at all there is a fight between two entities, cookies and Maitis, will take an example. Believe me, it has turned very wild. We do not know sitting here, but the things are very bad in ground, because some of my juniors, my seniors are still there, so they are telling the situation is very, very bad. Now, the cookies are instigating the youth, this is the time to pick up arms. Maybe the Maitis are also doing the same. Maybe the cookie who is under instigation, he is not ready to pick up arms to fight for it. But what they are creating a dark pattern, trying to tell him to rise to the action now, otherwise you will perish as an entity. So the same way, if I am using some techniques where I am forcing an individual to take an instant decision which may not be in his favor but definitely in my favor, it is nothing but a dark pattern. But tell me, is it good? The individual should have a choice to take a decision, time to take a decision, to take an informed decision based on certain comparative analysis and other things that may be time consuming. Maybe the product that they are trying to sell is not so good, so that is why they are compelling the individual to take it immediately, otherwise he may suffer a loss. So if anybody is using this technique for improving their sales pattern, then this is called, that company or institution has employed something known as dark patterns. What he says, the term dark pattern was coined by Harry Brignall in 2010. It means this is not a new, it has been happening now. He says it simply means a user interface that has been created to trick or manipulate users into making choices that are detrimental to their interest. It means I am forcing you to do something that is not in your favor, that would not be in your favor. So if I do something, I have applied a dark pattern in propagating you, right? Now, Dark patterns encompass a wide range of manipulative practices. Underline the word manipulative practices. Very, very important. The word is manipulative practices. What it says, such as drip pricing. 10 सेकंड में लोगे तो 1000 रुपए का 100 रुपए में मिलेगा. After 10 seconds you will have to pay 1000 rupees. Drip pricing. Disguised advertising. Can you anybody give me an example of disguised advertising? Disguised advertising. No. Whey protein. Whey protein ad. Some of the ads of whey protein are such. A thin gentleman is doing exercise. The moment he takes the whey protein, he becomes instantly muscular. So that is a classic example of what we call disguised advertising. Bait and click. What is this bait and click? Bait is nothing but jal. Telugulo fanda. To catch wild animals, they put bait, no? So something like that. Okay? So bait and catch is basically you try to offer something, a consumer may come ahead to buy that, and in the garb of that you sell something else. That is called bait and click. Choice manipulation. See, nowadays it is so happening. I don't know some of you have felt this or not. I have ordered one Dettol shampoo, but without my knowledge, in the quantity they made it 2. I did not check the bill completely because there were list of items for the entire month, 30-40. So once my cart was full, without checking it again, I've just said proceed ahead for the payment. You did not notice it, but when the goods came, you said I ordered only 1, no? Why he gave 2? You think that 1 + 1 may be free, not realizing that you have paid for 2 actually. Even if you have noticed that you have paid for 2, because the process of returning that item is rigorous. Who will go unnecessarily? Sare, next month 1 goes. So you have this habit. So what you do, you did not want to purchase 2, but he forced you to purchase 2. Beach mein bhi there was one scam happening. Small items, means 200 rupees, 300 rupees items, without you ordering. They will only themselves create the order and initiate the transaction. Delivery, what you call paid on delivery, POD, pay on delivery. Now because if common, 4 or 5 people are using the common account, because the value is 200 or 250 rupees, what do you think? Maybe the other family member would have ordered something. So you take the delivery after paying, then you keep asking somebody who ordered. Nobody says I did not order it. But what he had executed, successful transaction without the knowledge of 4 of you. So these are all classic examples of dark patterns. Arey samajh mein aa raha hai? ठीक है? Now tell me how dark pattern can be a threat to internal security. Terrorist అంత ఈజీగా ఇండాక్ట్రినేట్ అవ్వడు. మనం షాంపూ కానంత ఈజీగా అయితే ఆడు అవ్వడు డెఫినెట్గా. How you can use the dark pattern, how dark pattern can be a threat to internal security is my question. Hawala. Endi? Hawala is already there. Employ a dark pattern and try to tell, using this dark pattern, this can be a threat to our internal security. Something can be initiated as if you have initiated on any social media platforms. Yes or no? Say a post that you have written the post, I can create that post and put it on the platform. So that can be a threat. You see, by the time you establish that you did not create that post or you did not post that post, the damage is done. Yes or no? The damage is done. So dark pattern can be a biggest threat to the internal security scenario. So write 5 to 6 examples in your own dimensional approach and keep it aside. It may come as a question. Major types of dark pattern, please just see the points. One is creating the urgency, I gave you an example. Basket sneaking also I gave you an example, where you did not order but it got added to the basket. Confirm shaming, it means I told you, अगर तुम अपनी माँ से प्यार करते हो तो लाइक बटन दबाओ. You will say, अरे करता तो हूँ, चलो, ठीक है. Forced action. Can anybody give me an example of forced action? Forced action. What it says? This involves forcing consumer into taking an action they may not want to take, such as signing for a service in order to access the content. Classic example is forced action. Newspaper without subscribing, if you open the article, 1 or 2 article he will allow you to read for free. The third article you open, नीचे immediately आएगा subscribe to see the full article. So this is a classic example of forced action. ठीक है. Nagging, persistent, Swiggy, Zomato, Saudubtar. So this is called nagging as a dark pattern. Subscription traps. Yesterday I was subscribing for Indian Express paper because day before yesterday it got what you call cancelled. In the process I also did not realize that I have subscribed it till 2033. I paid only for 1 year, but after 1 year completion auto payment. I realized when I checked my mail, because the mail link comes 2033. I said I paid only 1100 or 1200 rupees. Veedu 10 samvatsaraliki ichchada. Then I went back to see my order. There I realized I became a victim of dark pattern. Understand this. Take it. Interference. If you remember in the cyber security class, I spoke about man in the middle attack. Where both the ends he will impersonate as somebody. Generally you have a habit of, for example, sending message to your father, send 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees for so and so payment or something. What this person will do, he will hijack your number. From your number, without your knowledge, he'll send a what you call message to your father to send 10,000 rupees to a particular number, some phone number or something, phone pay number. Your father, knowing that every month you generally ask this money, so without questioning him your requirement, he sends. Maybe after sending he may call you, amma double durkaya. Then you will say, I never asked. But on his phone it is displayed that you have only asked. Then your father will take the belt. Nuvu adigi adagaledu an antunnavu. So that it becomes difficult to. So what he has done, he has created an interference between two entities. So this is also an example of dark pattern. Bait and switch we have done. Hidden cost. Can anybody talk about this hidden cost? Hidden cost. Swiggy ka example hai, classic example. The tip you would have never given more than 10 rupees, but he will auto put 50 rupees as tip. The biryani that you ordered was 180 rupees, but when the bill came it became 320 rupees. You are like, deen kana manchi akadike elli dinesi. So when you see the bill, you realize 50 rupees was the tip, 60 rupees was GST, packing charges. You know, these are all hidden cost. But in the menu list, what is the cost given? 180 rupees. But when you paid finally, how much you paid? 320 rupees. So this is a classic example of hidden cost. Disguised ads. Anybody? Anybody can give me an example of a disguised ad?
Dark woman applying a cream and become
Fair and Lovely. Vaadu pichi double sampayichindu. Fair and Lovely, Pond's powder, Lakme, your what is that night lotion which you apply? Serums. These are all examples of disguised advertisements only. Okay? Nobody will become white just like that. There is no need to become in the first place. Now, why it is in the news? Because the Department of Consumer Affairs has summoned the cab and two-wheeler aggregators, basically your Ola and Uber aggregators. What they say? To come clean on their charges and algorithms. Now, See, understand, in the peak time the charges are going high. This same auto is available at 12 o'clock in the afternoon for 80 rupees, but 9 o'clock in the morning for maybe 180 or 200 rupees. Is the cost to the auto driver increasing? Is the money to the auto driver increasing? No. But who is gaining the advantage? The aggregator or the platform provider. So based on repeated complaints on these cab and two-wheeler people, the Department of Consumer Affairs has given them a notice. And what did this notice say? This notice talked about the practices, the wrong practices that they are doing. Okay? The notice talks about the wrong practices that these people are doing in order to increase their sales. Okay? So that is how this is one important. See, is there any check mechanism to put brakes on these cab aggregators? तुम पढ़े लिखे हो, तुमको पता होना चाहिए. See, Tatkal is there. Now there is instant Tatkal. This is also a classic example of using algorithm to say, for example, I know that the admissions from 1st of month to 5th of month are increased admissions. If I tell, if you want to make payment on the 1st or between 1 to 5, you have to pay 10% extra. Will it be legal? It will not be legal. But are we questioning the algorithm? Are you questioning the algorithm when you are booking an auto? But there is a mechanism also to question their authority. So that is how, because of the repeated complaints, the Department of Consumer Affairs has given a notice to the cab and the two-wheeler aggregators. Okay? Now, one more entity, please Google also about this entity. The Advertising Standards Council of India, very, very important from prelims perspective. The Advertisement Standards Council of India. See, certain codes, see, understand, the code of operation to these entities is not given by the Department of Consumer Affairs. It is only the legal notice has been sent by them. But the institution that is controlling is the Advertising Standards Council of India. Prelims ke liye important hai. He will use this, he will make a statement. The code related to the controlling of the dark patterns are generated by the Department of Consumer Affairs. The answer is incorrect. It is basically the Advertising Standards Council of India. Okay? And not only applies across media, including online advertising also, and also includes companies, own websites, pages and handles. Anything which is handled by a particular institution, anything and everything comes under the codes issued by the Advertising and Councils of India. Please now understand this Consumer Protection Act. What it says? Anything which is unfair practice and if it is prohibited under the Consumer Protection Act 2019, it means this impedes their right to be well informed, their right to make a proper choice. So they can be booked under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Understand this, ठीक है? ठीक है? Understand this. So very, very important. And both the Consumer Protection Act and the ASCII code require ads not to mislead the consumers. Okay? And what is the next? The ASCII code is proposed to be extended to reflect the following advertising related concern along the dark pattern. So all the concerns that we have discussed in the previous 2 pages, for all those these codes are applicable. I want somebody to give me the answer for this question. Even the online students can respond. The dark patterns pose threat to transparency. Yes or no? Yes, they pose threat to transparency. In India, there are no laws to control dark patterns. False. There are two. One is the Consumer Protection Act and also the ASCII code. Two are there. Then dark patterns are against the principles of fair competition. True. Okay. Bait and switch are examples of dark pattern. Yes. So how many are true? The three pairs are, but how? What am I asking? Incorrect. So what is the answer? Only one pair. Okay. So be very careful with this. Correct or incorrect. So ASCII codes are there to safeguard all of us. External debt of a country. Acha, tell me, is debt good? On the face of it, what is good? అప్పు చేసే పెరగాలరా. On the face of it, what looks good? From a micro perspective, you tell. Don't tell from the macro perspective. Macro perspective is country perspective, sectors perspective. I am talking individual level perspective. Debtless growth. But for this to happen, there should be adequate income. Now, tell me, in this today's world, can anybody own a house without taking a housing loan? No. Now, if I have not taken loan, it means I cannot buy a house. I cannot buy a house. The same way, if nobody can take a loan and nobody can buy a house, it means in the first place there won't be any houses for sale. अरे समझा करो. Now, what is getting affected? Yes or no? So, generally it is presumed that people will not have adequate money to buy things paying full amount on the initial day itself. So, to enable people to purchase, to increase their purchasing capacity beyond their income, the dimension of loan has come into play. Yes or no? So, using that we are taking debt. But is the government taking debt to buy a house? No. Then why is the government taking loan? For penultimate aim is to growth. Now why growth? Covered for you last week. Because there is a feeling that growth leads to development. There is a feeling that growth leads to development. Now, if there is year on year 8% growth, for assumption, if there is an year on year 8% growth, it means if this equation was true, completely true, 8% of the population should come out of poverty. It means the correlation between these two is not as good as it sounds. It means there are gaps between growth and development. Now understand, if your growth which is as a result of debt, if it is not bridging the gap between development and growth, it means the growth is at the cost of debt, which is not achieving development. What does it mean? The entire debt that is coming, it is getting concentrated only in a particular direction. Are समझ में आ रहा है? So now tell me, growth with debt without corresponding development, good or bad? It is obviously bad for the country. That is the reason why whenever the government goes for debt on the name of growth, on the name of infrastructural development, the critics always question if you are growing at the rate of 8% or if you are growing at the rate of 3%, when you are not able to achieve this, what is the use of this? इस बात को समझने की कोशिश करो. What the critics are saying, I am least bothered whether you are growing at 8% or 3% or 20% for that matter. I am only bothered what is your ability to uplift the lives of certain people who are below poverty line. If that 3% is achieving a better result, I am happy with 3% because 8% did not give. So what the critics say is that increased debt is increasing the inequality in the society. इस बात को समझने की कोशिश करो. The underlining statement is the increasing government debt is penultimately resulting in the increased inequality in the society. That is the reason why year on year increase in the individuals of high net worth individuals, last week हमने बात की थी, last week हमने बात की थी, the increased number of high net worth individuals is not a very good figure because it also showcases that basically this dimension is not fulfilling. But somebody very validly write online, jobless growth. One more dimension. See, are we directly trying to connect growth with jobs? Yes? Yes? Yes or no? Right? Now, tell me, the rate of increase, now we are proudly the most populous country in the world. Yes or no? Has the increase in population been commensurate with the increase in growth and development? Don't know, sir. Figures nahi hai, sorry. Yes or no? What is our population today? Today means not today, now. How many billions we are now? 1.3 billion. In the entire world population of hardly 7 to 8 billion, our contribution is 1.3 billion. Yes or no? But what is our contribution to the growth? What is our contribution to the development? It is not very happy. So that is the reason why the critics are saying in India, growth is not a true indicator of development. That is what I want to say. In India, and on top of it, whatever growth is coming, it is coming at the cost of a repayment obligation. So all the more it is bad. So all the more it is bad. But now because the government has to carry out its functions, so that's how the debt. See, debt also is of two varieties. Debt also is of two varieties. One is your domestic debt and the other is your external debt. Now tell me, which debt is good? हाँ बताओ. From the government के perspective से मत बोलो. You talk as an economist. We all assume that we are all PhD holders in economy. Now tell me, which debt is good? Domestic debt is good. Why? నేను చెప్పలేదు సార్, నా వైపు చూడకండి అని చెప్తున్నా. లో ఇంట్రెస్టా? నేను డబ్బులు ఇవ్వ గవర్నమెంట్కి. అంటే ఇది కూడా మన కంట్రీ గ్రోత్ కోసమే, ఎక్స్టర్నల్ డెట్ ఆల్సో. When I am saying domestic debt, everybody, central government, everybody. Now tell me, from the perspective of the government, from the perspective of an economist, this is good or this is good? Huh? Think. Huh? Domestic is good. Chalo. There is an accepted viewpoint that domestic is good. My question is why? You all accepted. What currency? क्या? बी स्पेसिफिक. मारूंगा, 1 साल हो गया अभी. एक्सचेंज रेट फ्लक्चुएशंस. आई बात समझ में? एक्सचेंज रेट fluctuations. Understand this. What Bhavana is trying to tell is, when you take a external debt, it is also subjective to exchange rate fluctuation also. For example, you took $100 loan on 1st of January 2023 when $1 was equal to 80 rupees, and you promised to pay it back within a year. When you went to pay back within next year, $1 became 90 rupees. Now, other than the interest dimension, you have to shell out 10 rupees more to equate the corresponding value. So, external debt is subject to exchange rate fluctuations. This is one point. The second point is, it is an international repayment obligation and the government cannot skip it, because it will have a negative effect on your credit rating. So, that is the reason why the government cannot say I do not have the money. The moment it says I do not have the money, it means there is a BOP crisis. The freshers may not understand, but gradually over a period of time you will understand. Okay? Now, so we all accept that. See, the easiest way for the government to pay the domestic debt is to print and pay. Easiest way. So, but as a last resort, but always as a last resort. That printing and paying is called right. That printing and paying is called ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి. అరే అందరు బిల్డింగ్ నుంచి దూకేసి ఉండరా క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత. ठीक है, it's called deficit financing. How? Through printing additional currency. तुम लोग आएगा क्लास, टाइम है. ठीक है, चल. Please read through the article. And one more problem with the external debt, there is one more problem. And one more problem with the external debt is, it is a tied debt. What is a tied debt? What is a tied debt? Anybody? What is a tied debt? Manishwar writes, domestic debts as fluctuations care less in currency. Good, that's what he is answered. Good. Yeah. What is a tied debt? How is a cess different from a tax? For a specific purpose. Cess is collected for a specific purpose. How many types of cess are in vogue now? Right, Champesara, right? How many types of cess are in place in today's economic perspective? Agriculture cess, Swachh Bharat cess, education cess. What are the various levels at which these cesses come into play? Marunga. Cess. Good question. What is a tax? The amount of share we pay to the government from our earnings or profits is a tax. Now, say for example, as an institution is also paying GST 18%. Whatever fees you have paid, the government we have paid 18% tax. Now, has the government told institution that this 18% that you are paying me as a tax, I am using this money in constructing the road in front of the institute? It means the tax is not tied to any specific purpose. But when it comes to cess, if the government is collecting cess, Swachh Bharat cess, whatever the amount that has been collected will be utilized for that particular purpose only. Okay? So it is called tied. Now, whenever you go for external debt, the first thing that you need to understand is, you have to give a specified purpose for which you need the money, and the money cannot be used for any other purpose. गुजरात में सरदार पटेल की एक मूर्ति बनाई थी, यूके के साथ बहुत झगड़ा हुआ था, यूनाइटेड किंगडम blamed India, you took money on the name of growth and development, and this is what you have diverted the money in creating a huge statue of that particular size, which they called useless and meaningless. So the government was blamed for diversifying the money which was not meant for that purpose. ठीक है, हाँ बोलो. Government was not good. Policy makers are not good. Very good. I love his words. हाँ మరి టేక్ లోన్ ఎందుకు ప్రింట్ మనీకి? అచ్చా అలా అంటున్నా. ఓకే, సి దిస్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఇన్ జింబాబ్వే. This happened in Zimbabwe, where the policy guidelines were not adhered to, and because of the lack of money, government started printing money. A time came when one loaf of bread, what is available to you for 30-40 rupees, in Zimbabwe costed 10 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. So people had to take currency in baggages, in big bags, and get a loaf of bread home. It means money lost its value. So if you resort to deficit financing, your currency will lose value. For internationalizing your rupee, people will see all these parameters before accepting your currency as an international currency. ठीक है, चलो. हाँ.
Now we are paying GST for everything, excluding some products. Now what is that GST used? That is also cess only.
No, who told you?
We are facing problem of cess.
Why?
We don't know where our GST taxes have been used.
It is a tax. It is not a cess. When the GST is being collected by the government, is the government telling GST itna collect hua, I am using this money for this?
It is not there.
No, that's why it is untied. Tax is an untied revenue to the government. Cess is a tied revenue to the government. ठीक है, हाँ. Anybody else? No, print చేయొద్దు, కష్టపడి సంపాదించాలి. External debt is money borrowed by a government or corporation from a foreign source. It can include any of these. Please make a note of this 4. It can include any of these. Non-guaranteed private sector external debt, public and publicly guaranteed debt, central bank deposits, loans from the International Monetary Fund. So we have proudly taken all the debts. Okay? We have proudly taken all the forms of debts. Now present status of India, please listen to this very carefully. RBI's external debt report says that the external debt of India has risen to $624 billion during the financial year 2022-2023. It means from April to April 1st of April 2022 till 31st of March 2023, India's external debt has been rupees $624 billion. What it says, India's external debt at end of March rose by 5.6 billion. It means the external debt has risen from the year, but the external debt to GDP ratio slid to 18.9%. What is this external debt to GDP ratio? You have heard about debt to GDP ratio? What is GDP? Gross domestic product. कोई उसको अंदर बुलाओ जो झांक रहा है. Call them inside. आइए, wanna come, please. See, when you talk about GDP, gross domestic product, when you talk about debt to GDP, we are basically making a comparison between debt and GDP. Say for example, if your gross domestic product GDP was 100 and if your debt was 20, what is your debt to GDP ratio? 1:5? No, ఏదో ఒకటి 1:5 or 5:1. So it means out of your GDP, 20% is your debt. It means you have the capacity to pay back from the gross domestic product the external debt. So now what this statement is saying is, but the external debt to GDP ratio slid to 18.9%. It means it reduced from a higher figure to 18.9%. Now tell me, the external debt to GDP ratio reducing is a good phenomenon or a bad phenomenon? Think and answer. My question, your external debt to GDP ratio from a higher figure reducing to 18.9 is good or bad? On the face of it, it is good, because now your growth is happening on a reduced dependency on external debt. So from that perspective, it is a good statement to hear, and luckily it was 20% a year earlier. So exactly matches our example. It was 20 earlier, now it has come down to 18.9. Now valuation gains, understand this topic concept very well. What is a valuation gain? कौन बताएगा? What is this valuation gain is my question. 1.1. Come again. Ekkada? No. That is not that valuation gain. Good that you have told that. He is not talking about this 1.1 valuation gain. No. The valuation gain is with respect to something else. We will understand this. Okay. Now, understand this. You know foreign exchange reserves, forex reserves. India has around $600 billion of forex reserves, right? Now, when I say forex reserves, what do I have in my forex reserves? Dollars, mostly dollars, not only dollars, but mostly dollars. Now, if the value of dollar has increased, has my value has been gained or lost? It means it has increased. It means when I had $620 billion as my forex reserve, without I purchasing additional dollars, because of the valuation gain, my 620 became assumption $625 billion. So it means we are gaining also as a result of value gain. Valuation gains due to the appreciation of US dollar vis-a-vis the Indian rupee and major currencies such as yen etc. were placed at 20.6 billion. So this is one of the fact of the report. Valuation gain की वजह से my forex reserves has increased by 20.6 billion. Excluding the valuation effect, what it says, when I negate the valuation effect, external debt would have increased by $26.2. Understand this, which is only because there is a valuation gain of 20.6, my external debt has only risen by 5.6. It means it has negated it, it has cut it, because the valuation gain has been 26.2. I earned this as a result of valuation gain, reducing my what you call 5.6. Your answer would be 20.6 in rough figures. So he says that actually my external debt increased by this much, but I got a value gain of 20.6. That is why it is showcasing as 5.6. Understand this statement. Okay? Now, if I say the valuation gain has a positive effect on external debt, true statement? True statement. If I make a statement, my valuation gain has a positive effect on my net external debt, will it be a true statement? If I say my valuation loss will have a negative effect on my net external debt, it will again be a true statement. So understand the meaning of each and every word in this statement. Okay? So this is about long term, short term debts. In your own time you can just read through it, but one dimension I would want to tell, it says the dollar denominated debt remained the largest component of external debt. Underline this statement. It means our maximum loans are in the denomination of dollar. What is another message? What is the another message? What is the message? If my maximum largest component of my external debt is dollar, what is the message? If my maximum external debt is in dollars, what does it mean? Okay, that is one. She says if valuation gain is there, I will have an advantage. What is the second? High dependency on dollar as a medium of exchange. This is one dimension. It means in future, if US puts sanctions on India, my money coming to the country will be most affected. Hello, समझ रहे हो बात को? Now, what is the value of your foreign exchange reserves? Again, $600 billion approximately. What is your external debt? Same $624 billion. Is there a parity between the two? Is there supposed to be a parity between the two? Need not be. Why? Because you are not paying purely from your forex reserves. You are paying out of your GDP also. You are paying out of taking some loans also. So understand, the GDP, the forex reserves has got no correlation whatsoever. Understand this dimension. Never ever think the external debt will be paid using the forex reserves. Never. They are reserves. They are not, this is not the money to pay the loan. No. You will pay the loan through GDP, through growth earnings. You will pay the loan through growth earnings, not through your reserves. You pay your newspaper bill from your father's salary. You will not ask your, the father will not tell mother, Popul dabbalo 5 rupayal petno gati. It will not happen. Okay, understand that. Reserves are meant for unforeseen circumstances. Okay, just understand that dimension. Okay. Rest is all figures, you will understand. Now tell me, which is the right answer? The answer is correctly, what I want is correctly. I want the students watching online also to answer. Good, Manishwar is giving right answers. Yeah. What is the answer? The rising debt is a grave cause of concern. Huh? True or false? No. It is not a grave cause of concern. Grave cause of concern. It is a cause of concern, but not grave cause of concern. Okay? Because I have the capacity to repay. I have the capacity to repay. Okay, we will come one by one. The interest rate on foreign loans is linked to the repo rate. Achha, this dimension we missed. The interest rate on the foreign loans, external loans, is not linked to your repo rate, it is linked to your LIBOR, London Interbank Operating Rate. Anybody, what is this? Huh? What is this? London Interbank Operating Rate. Huh? What is repo rate? Good question. The rate at which the commercial banks borrow short-term loans from the RBI is a repo rate. The rate at which the commercial banks and other financial institutions borrow from RBI, short-term loan from RBI is the repo rate. Because it is domestic, it is repo rate, but because it is external, it is LIBOR, London Interbank Operating Rate. The way we have repo rate for our banks and RBI, the same way for the banks across the globe, to have a benchmark index, LIBOR is the benchmark index. It is called London Interbank Operating Rate. So external debt is linked to the LIBOR and not repo rate. Normally external debts are tied debts. Yes, it is a true statement. Okay, 2 false statements and 1 true statement till now. Valuation gain has narrowed the increase in debt to GDP ratio. Listen, listen. Valuation gain has narrowed the increase in debt to GDP ratio. Yes or no? Yes, it is true statement. Then dollar denominated debt is the largest, again true statement. How many are true? 3 are true. So the answer is A. You have a doubt? You have out, you ask, no problem. Valuation gain has narrowed the increase in the debt to GDP ratio. I said 20.6 बिलियन डॉलर से नैरो किया. ठीक है, चलो. क्रेडिट इंफॉर्मेशन कंपनीज. सी, अंडरस्टैंड. अच्छा, टेल मी what is the role of credit information companies in the economy? First of all, what is a not individuals only, institutional capacity also to pay. Individual corporate entities and institutional capacity to pay back loan. Say for example, listen, Suno, you took a credit card and happily boyfriend's birthday, girlfriend's birthday, you swiped it, detadi. When the time to payment came, 1st of July or 1st of August 2023, you faltered. You did not pay the amount of money. The moment you do that mistake, immediately that ICICI bank or any bank credit card that you have, he will send this information to credit information company that Oberoi sir, though he may claim that he is a good faculty, but he is a defaulter when paying credit bills. So he sent that message to credit information company. Immediately the credit information company will reduce my credit score. Whenever I go to any other people asking for money, he will say, sir, tell me your PAN number. The moment you tell him your PAN number, he will click some buttons and he will say, sir, your credit score is bad, I cannot give you money. This score is called CIBIL score, CIBIL. I'll tell you what CIBIL is all in some time, just wait. Now, what has happened? The credit information company has passed my information to somebody who was willing to give me a loan. For example, 1st of August, you defaulted, but you arranged money, your friend was always there for you. వాడు కాల్ చేతులు పట్టుకొని 5,000 తీసుకొని వాడు మొహాన్ని కొట్టేసినావు. You paid the ICICI bank. Now the problem is, the ICICI bank was very prompt in sending the message to CIC that you faulted, but he may not be that prompt in telling the CIC that you have paid now. It means your status of lower credit score is continued. Are yes or no? Now what has happened over a period of time is, these people are very quick to downgrade you, but not that quick to upgrade you. So that is the reason why RBI has what you call given, penalized 4 credit information companies in the recent this thing. Who are these credit information companies? Please make a note of these 4. And the first is your CIBIL, Credit Information Bureau of India Limited, in short form called CIBIL, 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 Credit Information Bureau of India Limited. There are others also, Equifax, Experian and CRIF HYMA. Important. This question is important from your examination perspective. Okay? Very, very important line. They are all licensed by the Reserve Bank of India and not the government of India, Reserve Bank of India, and CIBIL is the oldest and most well known credit information company in India. CIBIL is the oldest. Equifax, Experian and CRIF Highmark, in चारों में CIBIL is the oldest and all are licensed. What it says, the credit information companies, also called as credit bureaus, are organizations that collect, analyze and maintain credit data on borrowers, businesses and organizations. They are all licensed by Reserve Bank of India. They all complain to RBI. People like me, hello, I paid on 2nd of August, but this fellow till 30th of September showcased me as a defaulter. So that is how the RBI has penalized them. Many customers had complained that when they rectified a default issue or point out a wrong classification, CICs failed to act within the stipulated time frame. As a result, many customers were unable to get loans or credit cards as bank access the database of CICs and the rating given by them while taking decisions on loan and card sanctions. So they did not get their requisite loan. If a credit card holder defaults on a credit card or loan installment, it's immediately notified to the CICs. Please make a note, immediately notified to the CICs. However, CICs have failed to reclassify them when they rectified their payment. So this classification as a defaulter has happened fast, but reclassification as paid debt did not happen faster. Okay, so that is the complaint these people had. Please make a note. Credit reports can only be provided to the following people or authorities upon request. So borrower's employer, borrower's landlords, utility service providers, Government of India, lenders, banks, financial institutions, any third party, only after the written request from the borrower. So say for example, you go to take a house on rent. Now if you go to take a house on rent, the landlord can always seek your credit information from the CIC to see whether you have the capacity to pay the monthly rent or not. Because it is a third party, you have to understand, based on a request they will definitely give the score. Understand this dimension. Yeah, try to find the answer to this question. If a credit card holder defaults on a credit card or loan installment, it's immediately notified to the CICs. Is a right statement. CIBIL is the oldest and most well-known credit information company. Yes. CICs are licensed by the Reserve Bank of India. Right. Credit reports can be provided to the Government of India. Yes. On a request. Yes. Indian credit rating agencies are under the administrative control of the Government of India. Administrative control. Answer is RBI. They are not under the Government of India. So the answer is B. The answer is B. Understand this. Okay. क्या है? Criminalization of politics. See, this Association for Democratic Reforms, no? This is an association of the professors of IIM, Ahmedabad. So these are brainy people, right? Obviously much better than definitely I don't know about you, but they are much better than me. Okay, brainy people. If understand, if a report is generated by brainy people, it will definitely be against the government, against certain evils in the society. So the Association for Democratic Reforms is vocal about one issue in the society, that is the criminalization of politics. So whenever you write your mains answer related to criminalization of politics, the mention of this institution should come. Association for Democratic Reforms. What these people want is simple. if you have a criminal background, you should not be contesting the election. Simple. But the problem is, in India, a criminal case can be filed against anybody, anytime. So what the politicians take as an excuse is, if you do that, maybe to stop my political growth, somebody can go and file a false complaint also. So just because there is a criminal case against me, if you do not allow me to participate in political this thing, then it is undemocratic. Yes, if I am proved to be guilty, then there are cases where somebody, recently it was in the news, no? Bihar's chief minister, Bihar's chief minister Lalu Prasad Yadav, he was also expelled from politics on the grounds of arrest for so many number of years. Recently Rahul Baba also faced that problem. अरे इधर राहुल बाबा ओनली, अपना आप तो बच्चा ही है वो, है ना, देश का बच्चा है पूरा वो, ठीक, सोनिया गांधी का अकेला थोड़ी है, ठीक है. There is a joke, no? The joke is, two people are talking about the nalayak sons of them, both of them, means two inefficient sons. They were talking about two employees कि मेरा बेटा नालायक है, पढ़ता नहीं है, कुछ नहीं करता है. The other said, हाँ मेरा भी similar copy है. The moment Sonia Gandhi entered the room, the moment she entered the room, they kept quiet. बोला इससे तो ठीक ही है, ठीक है. Understand the joke? अबे it's a joke, ठीक है. So मतलब better than any day, better than पप्पू. Okay, चलो. अच्छा ये बताओ, what is your opinion about criminalization of politics? इसको हंस के अच्छा, what is your opinion on criminalization of politics? What do you feel? Can we not have a bifurcation in the kind of cases? If the cases are of heinous crime, murder, or some communal violence, instigating communal violence, some things which are against the security and integrity of India. See, if somebody has to be booked for these cases, prima facie basic evidence should be there. The police are not fool, no? You just walk in and say, Modi ke khilaf ye complaint likh do. They will also do their preliminary inquiry, investigation. Then only they will book the what you call case. So for heinous crimes, definitely certain amount of investigation would be done before charge sheeting somebody. The word is charge sheeting. So can we not think that yes, criminalization of politics is a problem, but however, if people have been charged for violence crimes which are heinous in nature, even if they are accused, they should be debarred. अरे मेरा point समझ में आ रहा है? Even if you want to give excuse to somebody that only on accusation charges we should not debar you from contesting election, but if the accusation of charge and you have been charge sheeted for a heinous crime, then definitely you should be. अरे समझ में आ रही है बात? So I am only trying to say, yes, criminalization of politics is a problem. Now, the problem is what the survey tells. The survey tells is the chances of a person with a criminal background winning is much more higher than a Sharif person. And the political parties are right to pick up a candidate who is more criminal because his chances of making it is also more. So that is what the political party को क्या चाहिए? My man should be sitting in the assembly. My man should be sitting in the Lok Sabha. Yes or no? The political party is least bothered whether he is criminal, good teacher, like the political party is least bothered. The political party, when it gives a ticket to an individual, the only and only consideration is two. One, his capacity to win and his capacity to spend money in the election, which is directly correlated to the success ratio. So the political parties are okay with any fellows. That's the reason why. What it says is, according to this entity, 43% of the people are pending criminal cases against them. ADR has asked the Election Commission to take strict action against the parties that are violating the orders, including deregistering those parties. ADR has also asked the Election Commission of India to publish a list of defaulting parties and impose fines on them. So who is requesting whom? The ADR is requesting to the Election Commission of India. Now the reasons for continuation of criminalization of politics. What is the biggest reason? The money and the muscle power, okay, is the biggest reason why the criminals continue to be the leaders. That's the biggest thing. See how beautifully this fellow is saying. They are saying, the ADR says, this is the reasons given by the ADR. It says till now it is only the Election Commission and the Supreme Court who have taken an initiative to do something good, to reduce the criminalization of politics, and the political entities have not done anything till now. But what it says is, it is the Parliament's responsibility to amend the Representation of People Act 1951, which deals with disqualification of candidates against whom charges have been proved in the court for serious offences. Okay? So this is where this comes. See, and he says our model code of conduct is basically of a voluntary nature, and its violation is seen almost in all the elections, so that it carries no value whatsoever. This is what they are trying to say about the reasons related to it. Very, very important. Nexus between criminals and politicians. Basic reasons you can, but only one thing here, willful disobedience is there, and the two forms which the political parties have to deposit to the Election Commission of India at the time of nominating a member are C2 and C7 forms. C2 forms and C7 forms. One more thing, this paragraph is important. It says, if you have any criminal record or case pending against any of your candidates, then information to, and if the, say for example, tomorrow TRS chooses Satyapriya to be the candidate for Mushirabad constituency. Now, if the party chooses her as the candidate for the Mushirabad constituency, and if there are certain criminal cases against her, it is the responsibility of that political party to divulge the information of these things, her criminal antecedents, in a local newspaper, in a national newspaper, and also in the social media platforms which the political party is running within 48 hours of declaration of that candidate, or definitely less than 2 weeks before the first date of nominations to be filed. So either within 48 hours when she is elected as a candidate, or definitely before 2 weeks when the first date of nomination starts. Her information has to be divulged in these 2 to 3 platforms. This is very, very important from prelims perspective. Time note karo isko. Okay? The difference, please read. As I told you, 1950 talks about anything before the elections, the number of seats, the delimitation, all those things. And 1951 basically talks about the conduct of elections and matters related to qualification and disqualification. Okay? So the Representation of People's Act 1950 and the Representation of People's Act 1951. And in this context, the act that is in context is a 1951 act, because it is talking about criminalization of politics. Give me the answer. Simple question, simple answer. Answer is, the answer is, हाँ, क्या आंसर है? अभी इतना साइलेंस क्यों है? इतना सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. First one is false. So the answer is only 2. ठीक है. This only 2 does not mean both the 2. Means second one. ठीक है. अरे भाई साहब, ये क्या है? इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ rupee. We spoke about this in adequate detail before I actually started. Acha, when you talk about internationalization of rupee, listen. We talk about the demand of our currency. Now see how the demand can be driven by the use of currency to settle international trade. 1, 2, be held as a reserve currency. Now tell me, which country will be willing to hold Indian currency as a reserve currency? చెప్పడం బాగుంటుంది వినడానికి, మేము ఇంటర్నేషనలైజ్ చేస్తున్నాం రూపీని, నువ్వు చేసుకో, but it should have a corresponding effect on the international economy also. People should start holding your currency as a reserve currency. Now tell me, when will people start holding your currency as a reserve currency? My question is, when will people start holding your currency as reserve currency is my question. There are certain macroeconomic indicators that they will see. Macroeconomic indicators like many, like what is a macroeconomic indicator? Define a macroeconomic indicator. Good, Maneshwar gave the right answer. What is a macroeconomic indicator? Hey, क्या रे? जवाब दो. Macroeconomic indicator, राहुल. తెలుగులో ఒక సామెత ఉంది, చదివితే ఉన్నమతి పోయిందంట. Total economic situation. What all it can have? GDP, okay, can be a macroeconomic indicator, how your economy is performing. Employment ratio, okay, employment ratio. There are bigger things. పెద్ద విషయాలు మాట్లాడు ఫస్ట్. పావర్టీ, బర్త్డేలు అవి కాదు. జీడిపి क्या रे? Macroeconomic indicators, my online people are giving better answers here. మీరందరూ సచ్. అరే ఇవన్నీ brothers and sisters including. One more important macroeconomic indicator. Foreign investments, okay, the incoming investments. When I say foreign investments, incoming foreign investments. Macroeconomic indicator, one more is debt. It is called debt, not debts. Debt, interest rate, not a macroeconomic indicator in its true sense, but it is important also. Bigger thing, export potential, very very important, export potential. But more than this, there is one more thing which is very very important. It is a macroeconomic indicator of that country. Though it may not be pure economic indicator, but it is considered to be a macroeconomic indicator. I have given you a hint. Though it is not an economic indicator, it is considered to be a macroeconomic indicator. Political stability, very very important, and also political atmosphere of the country. This is also, though it is not a pure economic indicator, but it is considered to be a macroeconomic indicator. ठीक है? Now tell me, इसमें से मेरे पास क्या है that my currency should be kept as reserve currency by the world. इसमें इस from the world perspective क्या है? Political stability. मतलब you have decided के Papu will not come. एक्सपोर्ट पोटेंशियल, क्या बेचोगे? आलू प्याज क्या बेचोगे? स्पाइसेस कब तक बेचेगा रे? ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल्स. गुड, दिस फेलो इज थिंकिंग. गुड पॉइंट. डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट, डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन सेल्स. ओके, बट व्हाट इज द मैग्नीट्यूड in the world perspective? SIPRI report पढ़ो, मालूम पड़ जाए. You can claim big things. ब्रह्मोस बेचूंगा, तेजास बेचूंगा, ये बेचूंगा, वो बेचूंगा. खरीदेगा कौन? कौन खरीदेगा? You tell me. Will Japan buy your BrahMos? Will America buy your BrahMos? Will Germany buy your BrahMos? Will China buy your BrahMos? Who other than these countries has the capacity to pay? No one probably. So all other are grade 2, grade 3 countries. Their capacity requirement would be 10 बेच देना यार. समझ रहे हो? What I am trying to say is, tell me, what you have that I should keep your currency as reserve currency? क्या बेटा? Incoming investment. Tomorrow morning Joe Biden sends a message to NATO countries, no more investments to India. What will happen? What will happen? The investments will. Where is the investment maximum coming from you? From which country to you? China से investment आ रहा है, sale हो रहा है बस, investment नहीं आ रहा है. We don't take Chinese investments in the first place. Only the platform of NDB, New Development Bank, AIIB, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. These are the two areas from where we are taking good money. बताओ. Where is the investment coming maximum to India? Which is this destination? Which is the source of our investments? Incoming investments. Asian country. सिंगापुर. सिंगापुर से पैसा आ रहा है तुम्हारे पास. बट नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज इट सिंगापुर दैट इज इन्वेस्टिंग? पीपल आर रूटिंग थ्रू. अरे ये चीजें समझना चाहिए तुम लोगों को. यू आर ऑल फ्यूचर ब्यूरोक्रेट्स. यू हैव टू बी वुल्फ्स. नॉट ओनली चाइना, एवरीबडी एल्स इज यूजिंग, बिकॉज देयर टैक्सेशन पॉलिसीज आर वेरी नॉट वेरी ग्रेट. ठीक है. Now you are yourself not satisfied in a classroom that you will keep your currency as the reserve currency. How will you motivate the international community to keep your currency as their reserve currency? फिर तो कोई भी नहीं रखेगा. If US declares sanctions against India, then no person with head will keep your currency as दे रिजर्व करेंसी, उसको डूब के मरना है। बोलो, लेट मी सी, फार्मास्यूटिकल एक्सपोर्ट्स, somebody is applying brain, तुम साले यहाँ बैठ के खिचड़ी खा रहे हो। हाँ, गुड। हाँ, how you will convince people keep my currency as reserve currency? What will you do? Message, I love you. हाँ, हाँ, how will you motivate people to keep your currency as a reserve currency? What will you do? You will call them, Anna petko Anna, please Anna. Huh? You will do one thing. It is not the trade actually. You will do अपने आप में कॉन्सेप्ट है, बाद में बात करूंगा, नॉट टुडे. You will do more and more currency swap agreements. That is when you will try to push in your currency as a currency. I will not give any name to it. ठीक है, understand this. वाह, పంచాయతీ రా మిమ్మల్ని చదువు పెట్టడం. ఛాలెంజెస్ ఏమేమో ఉన్నాయి. These are the challenges to your internationalization of currency. The biggest challenge, as we can see, is the exchange rate volatility. This is one dimension. See, internationalization of rupee is a big chapter in global economy. Internationalization of rupee is internationalization of a currency is probably the biggest chapter of any world economy class. ठीक है, इसमें बहुत सारे factors है, लेकिन there is one factor of market intervention. RBI does market intervention. Demand, supply, price. We are talking about this. We are talking about this. Will come ulta. The price of rupee is falling with respect to dollar. The price of rupee is falling with respect to dollar. The message on the wall is very clear. The supply is more than demand. With me? The price of the rupee in comparison to dollar is falling. Without I writing anything, you agreed that the message on the wall is clear that the demand is more, supply is more and the demand is less. That is why the price is falling. Now, how do I control the price in this scenario of my currency against dollar? Decrease supply of what? Of what? Decrease the supply of what? The product is rupee nana. Huh, let me see this intelligent soul. No, he is also not responding. Huh, my question is clear to you. My value of my rupee is falling. Yesterday when I closed the office at 5:45, went to home, the $1 equaled to rupees 82. Today afternoon $1 became 84. My BP started. I took 2 tablets to control my blood pressure because the currency is falling. What as a governor of RBI you will do to control this situation? Whose demand? Which demand supply? किसका बताओ? इसका, इसका, किसका? You will control the how? You will try to how? Instant గా ఎట్లా చేస్తావు? అదే ఫోన్ చేసి అన్న ఉంచుకో అన్న ప్లీజ్ అన్న. You will, where do you have dollars? Forex reserves में. So what you will do, immediately you are not doing anything with the rupee. అది ముందే పడిపోతుంది, దానికి ఇంకేం వాల్యూ లేదు, కాగితం ముక్క అది ఎందుకు పనికిరాదు. సో వాట్ యూ విల్ డూ, you will try to negatively influence the supply of dollar. You will pump the dollars into the international market. The moment the supply of dollars increases, the demand assuming will remain constant, the value of dollar will come down. If the value of dollar comes down, that is how this fluctuation can be controlled. Yes or no? Are ardhamautunda? This is called market intervention. This is called market intervention. Now मैं बहुत बड़ी बात कर रहा हूँ तुम लोगों से, try to understand. It is a big thing that I am trying to explain very freshers. Understand? Who gave the right to RBI to do this is my question. నా క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైందా? Who gave the right to the RBI to do this? Nobody. Nobody. It was RBI's own decision. Now my question is, when you are in a position not to take care of your currency in the first place, how can you make the international community accept your currency as international currency? See, अरे समझ में आ रहा है अनुराधा? नहीं आ रहा है? वेरी गुड. I need a student like that. I cannot do anything to stop my currency from falling. There is nothing in my hand. My currency is falling means falling. But if my currency is falling, it is against dollar, I know. और मेरे पास 600 बिलियन डॉलर है, आरबीआई के पास फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स है 600 बिलियन डॉलर्स, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स. Any currency which is held in any other currency other than your own currency, it is called a forex, foreign exchange reserves of that particular currency. So RBI के पास 650 billion dollars है in the forex reserves. Immediately he will pump 50 billion dollar into the market. Where? International market. So to control the fluctuating scenario. Now my question is, you are protecting your currency using the technique of market intervention. How can you expect the world to accept your currency as a international currency is what I am asking. And the factor why in the first place your currency is falling with respect to dollar is all this. कहाँ गया? All this. And out of all, this is the most important. This is the most important factor. See, you have this what you call Middle East countries, no? Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait. Do you know what is their exchange value? Their exchange value is very high. Now tell me, if their exchange value in comparison to dollar is high, will the world be okay to keep that currency as the international currency? Why? Why? In the short term, yes, but in the long term, no, because their economy is not diversified. They are dependent on only one item, that is oil. If tomorrow any other product comes which can replace oil, their economy will collapse. Why do you think Saudi Arabia is trying to create infrastructure? Because they know the oil reserves that I have is not unending. The wells will dry up someday. If the wells will dry up someday, I should have something to sell. What is that something? What is that something? Infrastructure. So people will come to me for as an entry port trade, where I will get goods from somewhere else, sell at cheaper rate at my place and earn some money. So that is how diversified economy is an important dimension. So understand, इसलिए बोला टॉपिक बड़ा है, थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंडिंग में प्रॉब्लम होगा, ठीक है? अगर नहीं भी कुछ चीज़ें अंडरस्टैंड हुआ तो इट्स ओके, नो वरीज. Over a period of time before your prelims exam, you will understand. Can the rupee be, I have spoken all this, can the rupee be? Only on phone call, nobody will keep your rupee as a reserve currency. Your rupee should be worth that. Then only they will keep your rupee. Okay? See, they are telling this is the opportune time. Why? They are saying it is argued that the bilateral currency swap arrangements may provide a blueprint for reducing the dependence on dollar. Currency swap अपने आप में एक चैप्टर है, फिर किसी दिन बात करो, ठीक है? Currency swap will not be taught to you in the class. I will teach you as part of current affairs. ठीक है? What is the most beautiful aspect of currency swap? తెలివిగా పాత వాళ్ళు రావడం మానేశారు, వచ్చి ఎందుకు అవమానం చేయించుకోవాలని చెప్పేసి. కరెన్సీ స్వాప్, వాట్ ఇస్ ద మోస్ట్ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ కరెన్సీ స్వాప్? వాట్ కరెన్సీ స్వాప్ ట్రైస్ టు కంట్రోల్? What currency swap tries to avoid? What it tries to control? Fluctuation, volatility. That is what the currency swap. See, किसी दिन और बात करें, ठीक है? छोड़ दो, तुम लोगों को नहीं पता है तो कोई बात, डोंट वरी, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. हाँ, अभी इसका आंसर देने की कोशिश करो, बिकॉज इट्स अ बिग टॉपिक. इधर ही रुक जाएंगे हम लोग. आई वांट टू डू 1 or 2 मेन्स आंसर्स ऑल्सो. हाँ, आंसर चाहिए मेरे को. 3 idiots, आंसर दो. या प्रीफिक्स्ड एक्सचेंज रेट. सी, ऑनलाइन वाला आंसर कर रहा है. द ब्यूटी ऑफ द करेंसी स्वैप इज you will decide before itself if at all Indian rupee is getting what you call exchange. See, if Indian rupee has to be exchanged with Japanese yen, it means first the Indian rupee has to be converted to dollar, the Japanese has to be converted to dollar. Based on that conversion, based on this conversion, the money will be exchanged. In the currency swap agreement, if the 1 rupee is equal to $82 today, I will tell him today itself, I will exchange this value say next 2 years with you. We will fix the amount of exchange at 82 only. It means I am basically trying to avoid the volatility of Indian rupee with the dollar. That's all. Understand this. Okay? And very beautiful, the money may not be exchanged immediately in a currency swap agreement. It is just an agreement. If India has signed $75 billion of currency swap agreement with Japan, it does not mean the exchange of money happened instantly. Need not necessarily. It may so happen that the $75 billion will never be exchanged. It is only kind of an insurance I am doing. Okay, if at all I need, say for example, I needed $20 billion to pay a loan. I did not want to disturb my foreign exchange reserves. What I will do? I will tell Japan, Japan today the currency is 84, I have signed a currency swap agreement with you at 82, please send me $20 billion at the rate of 82. So I have saved 2 rupees per dollar, $20 billion पे कितना पैसा सेव कर लिया. So that is the idea of currency swap agreement. What Japan got? What Japan got? What Japan got? What Japan got? Answer दो. What Japan got? रे तुम लोग सला इट्टरा मेरू. Japan got preferential market access. The day you understand this, Japan got preferential market access. If you remember, the India and Japan free trade agreement was hanging for long time. Japan said, you give me FTA, I will give you currency swap agreement. The moment we gave FTA to Japan, our iron and steel industry literally collapsed, because his ability to produce iron and steel at a much lower cost is much better than India's ability to produce the iron and steel. Understand? What he got? Preferential market access. Always remember, in economics, if a bigger fish is coming to closer to a smaller fish, it is not to save that fish, it is to have snacks. Okay, understand this. So in international relations, it is always national interest. Japan's national interest, India's national interest. Chalo, what is the answer? The online person, Pujita, sir, adding India into HDR basket currency, will it make it helpful for internationalization of rupee? See, HDR is something known as, हाँ, HDR, freshers में कौन बताएगा? What is an HDR? HDR is nothing but, the full form of HDR is special drawing right. It is the currency of IMF, but this currency is not kept in the form of notes. It is just presumed an average of 5 currencies is made and the value of 1 HDR is arrived at. Pujita is telling, sir, for increasing our acceptance of internationalization of rupee, can we go for including India's currency in the HDR basket of currencies? Now understand, the first criteria to include your currency in the basket of currency is the acceptance of your currency as the international, because HDR is the reserve currency of the world. HDR of IMF is the reserve currency of the world, and if it is a basket of average of some currencies, it means those 5 currencies are the most accepted currencies of the world. But is your currency the accepted currency of the world today? No. If independently a country is not accepting your currency as a reserve currency, how you can accept that to be included in the basket of IMF? It is dreaming something much more beyond our capacity. Okay? So Pujita is not in town, it seems, otherwise she would have come. Now I want the answer. Answer is, the online students have already given their answer. Offline students are, C for cat. 3 pairs are correct. Which is wrong? Indian currency enjoys wide acceptance around the world. Kallu muskon out. So 3 pairs is the correct answer. Okay? Good. Don't worry, nothing will happen. What is this? Data protection bill. Data protection bill. We will close at 7:30. Okay? The weekly current affairs part. Uske baad we will have a 5 minutes break to my throat. Then again we will continue for 45 minutes. 8:15 tak I will close. Don't worry, your dinner will not get affected. Lavanya. Okay? Chalo. Data protection bill. Acha, what is this data somebody is trying to protect? तुमको handout दे दिया है ना, पढ़ो पढ़ो पढ़ो. What is this data somebody trying to protect? What is this data is I am asking. आधार कार्ड ऑलरेडी लीक हो गया, सबको मिल गया, चिंता मत. पर्सनल डिटेल्स का मीनिंग बता. एड्रेस कौन बोला? सुष्मिता तू बोली. कार्ड डिटेल्स. सुनो सुनो सुनो, अरे रुक जा बेटा, रुक जा. When you say data from the perspective of data protection bill, 2-3 चीजों को ध्यान में रखो. The first thing that you need to understand is something known as non-personal data. This is one thing that you need to understand. The second thing that you need to understand is personal data. And this personal data is again personal data and critical personal data. Very, very important. Now, tell me, if the government wants to protect something, whatever I have written in the board, what would be the thing that the government is trying to protect the most? The critical personal data. This could be, as she used a word, biometric data. This could be your biometric data. Very often you come across news, no? Zomato got data stolen. So many data of the consumers of Zomato, login data is gone and all those things gone. So it means that it will ask you to change your passwords, because अपने को आदत होता है कि password same password across all the accounts. I love my cat @2023, something like that. If it is the most commonly put password is month @ that year. This is the most commonly used password. If it is, say for example, July, J capital July @2023. This is the most commonly used capital password. It is said if you are having any of the account as this as your password, it will take 3 seconds to break the code. हाँ बेटा.
How they know this password is famous? July data.
When they got the Zomato data, algorithm, no? कितना देर लगता है? 1 सेकंड. Control F, July @2023. The list is 10,000, 9,800 matched. Got it? Somebody was asking something. No? चले आगे. Okay. Now, one is the biometric data, which is critical personal data. We all gave, no? All 5 fingers, legs also, shoulders also, everything we gave. Eyes also, everything. Okay? That is biometric data. Acha, what will I get if I steal your biometric data?
So if you have a locker with the fingerprint will be stolen, then it opens.
Too criminal. Too criminal.
They'll use it on a gun and
He or be criminal. Well, he will use it on a gun also. He'll kill somebody. You want to kill somebody. I know. That's why IPS is your first choice. If it is elections,
We can take Aadhars of other people by biometrics and vote for that particular party. Fake votes. Money transactions.
हाँ छोटा सा बिरयानी, एक टाइम का बिरयानी मिल जाए काफ़ी. अच्छा बच्चा है वो, ठीक है. ये साला क्रिमिनल है दोनों साले. हाँ, why am I interested in biometric data?
So we can create another person with the biometric.
Sir, if something big is stored in some big banks, no, sir, that time they will mostly use either fingerprint or password. If we use that fingerprint, and we can access all those necessary things which are in the
Telugu movies का सब this. It is only in the movies. I am at the biggest place possible. Nothing like that happens.
Sir, in some movie, they take
Movie again.
they take dead people's biometrics and they will do murder and they will put on fingerprints on that and when the case is open, they are dead. They close
నువ్వు
the case.
తొందరగా లేచిట్రా, వాడు పక్క నుంచి జరుగు. నువ్వు కంప్లీట్ క్రిమినల్ మైండ్ हो गए सब.
Sir, criminals can escape from
हाँ. Is it for criminal purposes only? Then economic crime हटाओ, physical crime हटाओ. Why do I need your biometric data? Financial crime हटा दो. Anything related to financial crime हटाओ. Anything related to physical crime, murder, other, everything else. So many classifications she gave. वो सब हटा दो. Why I need the biometric data of Satyapriya? He gave the answer. You know Elon Musk? You know how much people are behind to get some genetic DNA of Elon Musk? Do you know when the North Korean leader goes out, not even his poop is left in that country? Believe me, that is a care they take, because through the DNA sampling you could know the health condition of a person. You could know what kind of genetic make that person is. You can clone a person. That's what he was trying to tell. Just imagine if you get the DNA of Albert Einstein today, will not 5 lakh Albert Einsteins will write the exam of UPSC? Can you compete with that brain? Obviously no, in many parlances. Huh.
But for cloning alone, biometric is not used.
That's what I am saying. I am saying you are only looking from the biometric perspective. I am saying if you get something closer to that person using that, somebody told very jovially address, but I want that address where that person lives. Through the trash that is removed every day from the house, I can get some genetic signatures and I can do whatever I want to do. I can infect the entire house, I can do anything. Understand that. So now the biometric is seen in a larger prism. So that is the reason why the government has to be utmost careful. The critical personal data has got many other things. The personal data could be your food choices, could be your Aadhaar card, your credit card, your debit card, all your cards that you have, right? But in the critical personal data, the biometric, your sexual preferences, these are all part of your critical personal data. There is a committee that was constituted in 2018 under the chairmanship of B.N. Sri Krishna committee. This committee gave a recommendation: if at all the government is taking any data from the public, it has to specify what is the purpose. Now, it has to specify the purpose, and that data has to be used for that purpose only. You cannot say you will use the data for anything unending. If you have used a particular, if you have sought critical personal data or personal data, you have to specify clearly the reason. And you cannot use that critical personal data or personal data for any other purpose other than the stated purpose. But in the extant bill that the government has brought today, all these things have been sidelined, because they brought one line: any government purpose ke liye, if your data is taken, anything can be government purpose. The definition of government purpose is very wide. Understand? So now the critics are crying like anything. This particular legislation is anti personal data. Okay? So understand why there is so much of noise. This so much of noise is, now the government can take your data for any purpose that it may feel is a bona fide purpose. So that is where the problem is coming. If we see the, we will come back to this, don't worry. If you see the concerns, we'll cover the concerns in detail, why people are talking too much about it. The bill is learned to have prescribed that the central government can exempt any instrumentality of the state. What is this any instrumentality of the state? Any state entity from adhering to the provisions on account of so and so, so and so, so and so and so. It means any state government, any government entity seeking data can exempt itself from the RTI also on the grounds of all of this. The control of the central government in appointing members of the data protection board. The central government has a clean chit whom to appoint as a data protection board. This was called data fiduciary authority before, when the BNC Krishna committee gave. An adjudicatory body that will deal with privacy related grievances and disputes between two parties is learned to have been retained as well. It means if the complaint is against the government that you have misused my data, if the person who is listening to my grievance is also a government appointed person, will he ever be justified to me? That is the biggest challenge of this particular thing. Okay? Now, dilutes the Right to Information Act as personal data of government functionaries is likely to be protected under it, making it difficult to be shared with an RTI application. This is what I told you here. Now, what is the outcome of this bill that the cabinet has cleared? The bill has not been cleared by Lok Sabha. It is only the cabinet has approved the introduction of the bill. Now tell me, in the process of legislation, cabinet approval कहाँ से आया? In the legislative process, where did the cabinet come from? The seniors would understand what I am trying to say. There is a process of legislation. Process of legislation में cabinet approval किधर है? कहीं भी नहीं है. Or yes or no? By telling that this bill has been cleared by the cabinet, what is the message to the Lok Sabha? Keep your mouth shut. What is the message to the Rajya Sabha? Again, आई बात समझ में? So it is giving prima facie authority that this bill has to be passed. You cannot stop this bill. Understand? These are all tactics. Executive overreach, excellent. Huh? That's what I said. This is a classic example. Is cabinet role in legislation? Then at max, once it is introduced in the parliament, if it is referred to a parliamentary committee, that is accepted. But cabinet कहाँ से आया? Understand the how Modi is playing the game. ठीक है? चलो, good. Come back to the article. What is the provision of the bill saying? We will come back to this. High penalties. Now, high penalties. Now tell me, 250 करोड़ का तुम पेनल्टी डालोगे फॉर डेटा प्रोटेक्शन ब्रीच, विल पीपल कम टू यू टू ట్రేడ్? అలా వాడు ఏమో జొమాటోలో వాడు బిర్యానీ తెప్పించుకున్నాడు, వాడు డేటా బ్రీచ్ అయినందుకు ఇఫ్ యూ పుట్ మీ ఎ ఫైన్ ఆఫ్ 250 crores, వేర్ షుడ్ ఐ గో? On one side you are talking about internationalization of rupee, and this is what is you are doing at home. How do I come? Somebody said no, investment atmosphere. Is this going in the favor of investment atmosphere? Understanding? So these are the concerns that are being raised. Is this 250 crore for criminalization of politics? 25 rupees रहेगा, मुश्किल से 250 rupees रहेगा. In the parliament building, the food that will cost not less than 8 to 10,000 rupees outside is charged to the parliamentarian at the rate of 12 rupees. This is called white collared crime, not job. And I am seeing where you are going. He got the line correct, criminalization of politics. सार्थोने start చేద్దాం. I have to be careful with you. ठीक है? Understand this. See, and fines for the individuals will begin from 10,000 rupees. If Satyapriya commits a crime related to data protection, because she is an individual, her fine will start at 10,000. Where it will end depends on the nature of crime. ठीक है? very important. The bill excluded non-personal data from its purview. అంటే నాన్ పర్సనల్ డేటాకి ఎటువంటి ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఉండదు. దేర్ వోంట్ బి ఎనీ ప్రొటెక్షన్ టు నాన్ పర్సనల్ డేటా. నౌ టెల్ మీ వాట్ మే కాన్స్టిట్యూట్ అ నాన్ పర్సనల్ డేటా? What may constitute a non-personal data? Address is also personal data where I am living, no? Business, okay, business related. What else? Non-personal data ante enti? Think. Personal data, ఇంటి అడ్రస్, మొబైల్ నంబరు, ఫుడ్ చాయిసెస్, జొమాటో, బిర్యానీ అన్నీ ఉంటాయి. వాట్ విల్ బి? Acha, he's got one point. He says maybe his interaction on any social media platform, Twitter. It is a social platform. It is not a personal platform. You made a comment there. Okay. Anything else? Your interaction in the public. Are depending on whom you will take a photograph with, I can tell you what will happen in the next 6 months. Yes or no? So that's how non-personal data is exempted. Because you have shared this in public, you have allowed somebody to click a photograph, it means it is a non-personal data. Okay. Please understand this dimension clearly. See, it deals with cross-border data flows to international jurisdictions, moving from a whitelisting approach to a blacklisting approach. पहले क्या था? Listen, simple. Don't go by the English. Earlier, they were allowing only certain segments of data to be freely flown across the boundaries. Now they are saying, I will not do whitelisting, I will do blacklisting. I will tell what data cannot flow, rest all is exempted. It can flow as per its wish. So that is how it has converted from whitelisting approach to blacklisting approach. Okay? So understand this from the perspective. Now give me the answer. Yes. See, for example, your WhatsApp is there or Gmail is there, mail is there. Your data is being stored somewhere, right? If it is Gmail, your data is being stored on the server of Gmail, right? Now, the idea is the Gmail is responsible to secure your data. Yes or no? If somebody is securing your data, holding your data, it becomes a data fiduciary. FIDUCIARY, fiduciary. The bill says as a data fiduciary you have certain responsibilities to fulfill. It means you cannot share this data with anybody. Even if the government asks for you, maybe you have to take my consent. If it is a personal data or a critical personal data, you have to take my consent, definitely. Second, for example, your data got stolen. You have to intimate me that my data has got stolen. I cannot be kept in dark. So these dimensions of responsibilities have been given to data fiduciary. 2-3 words they will use. He is talking about localization of data. The protection bill says that, one of the provisions says that no matter what, if it is my personal data or critical personal data, the data will not go beyond the boundaries of my country where I stay. It may sound very common to you, but for a big person it has lot of value. So critical personal data of a person cannot go beyond the boundaries. It's called data localization. And the personal data can go, but one replication has to be in our country. Listen to this. When it is non-personal data, it can keep moving wherever it wants to. When if it is personal data, it can go, but a copy of it has to be there in my country. If it is critical personal data, no matter what, it cannot go beyond the boundaries of my countries. That's what is the dimension, what he is trying to ask. Okay? If the data belongs to me, I am the data principal. Agamma, Madali. నీలాంటి వాళ్ళ కోసం ఇది రాశారు. What did they write? Modi plays very clean. He knows how his dress should be clean. You cannot put a spot, because the moment you try to put a spot, he will say, hello, please take a copy of it, ask Oberoi sir, he will give. That is why people are crying. It means the government is beyond the control. That is why the first question that I have asked is, why you are excluding the government? In democracy, who is responsible to whom? The government is responsible to the people. Yes or no? The fundamental rights are to keep a check on whom? The government. Against the excesses of the state. Against whom? The individual. Right? So it is against the spirit of democracy. Okay? Chalo, answer bolo. No criminal questions.
Sir, Aadhaar card name or biometric data.
Talking about only common people's personal data, critical personal data.
You want to talk about uncommon people's personal data.
Some confidential issues related to countries like army persons. What happened if they
నా డేటా నువ్వు లీక్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నావు బేసికలీ. చెప్పు.
confidential data hacked?
It's a threat, no? It is espionage. It is an act of cyber espionage. Cyber espionage. The word is cyber espionage. ESPIONAGE. Cyber espionage.
అదే ఆధార్ డేటా ఉన్నాయి అవన్నీ
గవర్నమెంట్
గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి ఎవరైనా
స్టోర్ చేసి
వాళ్ళ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి దొంగతనం చేసి
అయిపోయింది ఆల్రెడీ. చేస్తే ఏంది నా వంద, అది ఎప్పుడో అయిపోయింది. చూడలే న్యూస్, ఎప్పుడో అయిపోయింది. UIDAI. చలో ఆన్సర్ దో. Very important to know the health, what you call characteristics of your country. If I know particular cancer is spreading slower, I will do everything to spread it faster. If I know something is spreading faster, let me reduce the supply of medicine for that and create artificial supply crunch so that the price can be inflated. अरे क्रिमिनल माइंड है, सोचो. Kill and smuggle. Kill also and smuggle also. The new batch is more criminal than the old batch. They are good people here. Now I am realizing their value.
Many politicians' data also will be stored in
Yes. Who goes to AIMS? Will you get an admission in AIMS? You will die outside the boundary only. Yes or no? But it is meant for whom? For you and me only. But who is getting the treatment there? AIMS is meant for you and me only. Hello, madam. So you gave a different expression. For a common man, but will a common bat get so easy admission in AIMS? No. Who will get an easy admission in AIMS? When Indira Gandhi was shot bullets, Where was she taken? To big hospital only. ठीक है? Understand this. हाँ, आंसर दो रहे, तुम साला सब कर रहे हो, आंसर नहीं दे रहे. हाँ, आंसर is first, data principal is the person who temporarily is holding the data. No, it is a false statement. Data fiduciary is beyond the purview of the bill. Okay, the bill also covers non-personal data. No, the bill is being criticized for being anti-transparency. Okay, the bill allows global data flows by default. By default. By default, yes, because it does blacklisting. Because it is doing blacklisting. If it is whitelisting, then it is not by default. It is by selection. Because it is by default. So the answer is, so how many are correct? The answer is B. Good. 1, 2, 3 are wrong. 1, 2, 3 are wrong. Good, yeah. The online student is bright guy. Chalo, we will stop here. The High Seas Treaty and the because they are more what you call information specific. We will take a quick 2 minutes break and then we will come back for the mains. From the topics that we have discussed, we will try to write 2 answers today. Are you with me or not? So next 45 minutes we will try to write 2 answers. Which topic do you want to write? Internationalization of rupee and data protection. Who wanted data protection? Acha. Okay, we will write. Not, to some extent I will not ask you, because every day Modi ko call karna theek nahi rahega. So what I will tell, so we will decide 1,50,000 crores as the ways and means advances. Up till 1,50,000 crores of overdraft, I will not call you and disturb. But I will charge you interest for the money I will give through the window of now, and that charging of interest rate is repo rate. जो कमर्शियल बैंक्स को दे रहा है इंटरेस्ट पे, उसी रेट पे गवर्नमेंट को भी देगा. RBI will not give 1 rupee also free of cost to anybody, including the government. गवर्नमेंट को भी ब्याज पे ही देगा. ठीक है? Now, for example, the government decided to bring in one big welfare project related to health. The government feels the budget would be around 50,000 crores तक मुझे चाहिए. 50,000 crores तक चाहिए, it is good, okay, but I cannot pay repo rate का interest. The government tells the RBI, because you are my banker, okay, carry out open market operations, issue some bonds, government bonds on my name, and raise 50,000 rupees from the market. And I promise them to pay after 1 year. Treasury bills generally within 1 year, right? Within 1 year I will pay them back. So this 50,000 crores government immediately raised from the domestic market. If this is done, this is called open market operations. This is done by the RBI on behalf of the government with an intention to either raise money or sell the bonds also in the market. Okay? Say for example, when the RBI sells government bonds, the money is received by the government. Are you with me or not? Money is received by the government. People like you and me will buy. Not exactly you and me, it's common man. Because government bonds have got the assurance of repayment. Because I told you domestic market से अगर पैसा गवर्नमेंट के पास नहीं है तो प्रिंट करके तो देगा तेरे को. So there is an assurance that the government will pay. So people are ready to invest in the government bonds. Not only people, common people, institutions, banks, everybody are waiting for an opportunity for government to release this bond so that I can purchase. For banks and other institutions, these government bonds have got other importance also, because they can show this as a security and raise money from somewhere else. मैं बात को समझने की कोशिश करो. Interlinking. What she asked is open market operation. It ends with the issue of treasury. What I am going ahead and telling you is a commercial bank can use this treasury bill as a proof of collateral to raise additional money from elsewhere. Repo rate. ये थोड़ी चीज़ें फ्रेशर्स को टाइम लगेगा, ठीक है। चलो विल राइट द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। क्या व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन दैट वी डिसाइडेड टू राइट द आंसर? टॉपिक क्या था? इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ रूपी। अच्छा, गिव मी द क्वेश्चन। हाँ, क्वेश्चन इव्వండి, इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ रूपी। हाँ, can Indian currency be a global currency? You want me to explain or write the answer? Write the answer as if I am supposed to write in the exam. అంటే కాపీ చేసుకుంటారు అంతే కదా, దరిద్రంగా ఉందిరా ఇది. చల్, ఇది కూడా రాసుకోండి, ఏఎన్ఎస్ అండర్లైన్ డాట్. I'll keep on writing, I'll keep on talking to you. ठीक है. Now, can Indian currency be a global currency? I have seen students, no. They start with yes or no. No, Indian currency cannot be a currency. Now, see, if I start YC is your currency, okay, and GC is global currency. ठीक है. I am saying in a globalized world where countries interact with each other, acceptance of your currency as global currency will deepen the relationships. Understand what where I am trying to target? Deepen the relations. Now, see, today China wants to fight America. China wants to fight America. There is no second opinion about it. America wants to fight China. Again, there is no second opinion. What is it that is stopping the war? See, एक बात को समझो. America has very intelligently outsourced minuscule jobs. I am making a statement here. America has very intelligently outsourced minuscule jobs. Okay, నువ్వు మెడిసిన్స్ చేసుకో, ఓకే నువ్వు నట్ బోల్ట్స్ చేసుకో, ఓకే నువ్వు ఫర్నిచర్ చేసుకో, నో ప్రాబ్లం. Has America outsourced its space technology? Has America outsourced its defense technology? It means America has created a circle of economic activity where it has not globalized anything. That's the biggest challenge with America and India's defense partnership, because it does not want to partner with India anything in the defense production. That is the reason why our dependence on America is the least when it comes to defense equipment. Now things are opening up, but believe me, even then it will not open up the way you are thinking. It will never happen, because it will never share its trade secrets or the manufacturing or the science and technology secrets related to weapons of mass production. Weapons of mass production, it will never share. It means it is creating, still holding a inner circle. But if I have a deeper relationship, will I be able to go more closer to him? Understand? Say if say today America tells any country in the world, Germany, let's trade in this, generally that country will not say no, because it knows that because your currency has become international reserve currency, if I directly say no to you, you may have a bad relationship with me and you may affect my relationship with other countries also. So I am saying in a globalized world where countries interact with each other, acceptance of your currency as global currency will deepen the relations. When these relations deepen, it will have a positive spillover effect, on trade. Yes or no? It will have a positive spillover effect on trade. See, why is the world trading with America today? Because of dollar, because they want dollar. That's the reason why the world wants to trade. So it is having a positive spillover effect on trade. Economies of scale and diversification. This is my introduction. Very every word has a meaning. Diversification is a meaning. Now come back to the can Indian currency. Now as we have discussed, for any currency to be accepted as an international currency, one dimension that we said that the currency should be kept as a reserve currency, the people should be trading in that currency and that currency should be strong. Now can Indian currency be a global currency? For this my next paragraph, or I can write can and start 1. I am writing my, first I will write certain positive dimensions, then I will write certain negative dimension why it cannot be. My holding of forex reserves to the tune of $600+ billion can be leveraged to gain confidence in maintaining exchange fluctuations. See, understand, if tomorrow Japan decides to trade with India in Indian rupees and if the Indian rupee value falls, जापान के लिए तो नुकसान हो जाएगा ना? Yes or no? Because it has to shell more Indian rupees to get $1, so it will be lost to Japan. So you have to gain confidence of the people saying that I will use my forex reserves, which is of the tune of $600 billion, to ensure that my volatility of my rupee is not there. I gave that example, demand supply price of the dollar, how I will try to market intervention. I am basically talking about market intervention here. This is first. Second, see, that's how integrated mains is all about, integrated answer writing. You know, I am the voice of South today in some dimension, not maybe completely, but yes, largely I am the voice of South. It means for any major decisions to be taken, I can take all the voice of South in one way, in one direction I can influence. Can I not say to the countries in the South that if you accept my currency as the global currency, I shall fight for the cause of the global South? Yes or no? Say I am trying to bring in acceptance of my currency as global currency. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. I will use the wide basket of my goods, from defense to vegetables, to ensure diversity in trade and continuity in relations. Yes or no? Where I am talking about how can I will use the wide basket of now 4. Very important. I shall also use diplomacy as a mode to convince people to start accepting my currency. 5. Through the channel of currency swap agreements, I am calling it CSA. Through the channel of currency swap agreements, I would tie my currency to any foreign currency, to the existing, you write existing global currency, to obviate currency fluctuations. See, by giving these points, you are trying to convince the world why they should accept my currency as a global currency. ठीक है? One more point. Anybody can give a point related to investments. Very, very important. What else you can leverage? She spoke about political stability. Can also be leveraged. Political stability is the biggest factor of giving loan to you, because today somebody else, tomorrow somebody else, people will not accept. So, I shall also leverage the political stability to convince the world about my ability to channelize my efforts in this direction without any domestic opposition. Even a country like America faces stiff competition from the own Congress. खुद का Congress, American Congress is the Parliament of America. ठीक है? It tries to control the way the government functions very badly. ठीक है? But now the question mark comes is can. Now the last paragraph is, though these points could be promising, a lot needs to be done for gaining international confidence that include working on all the macroeconomic indicators. Working on, we forgot to discuss one macroeconomic indicator, that is your fiscal deficit. That's probably the biggest macroeconomic indicator other than the export potential. Okay? So, though these points could be promising, a lot needs to be done for gaining international confidence that include working on all the macroeconomic indicators. Then I will write, one must not forget that the acceptance of any currency as a global currency is a long drawn process. Full stop. If realistic approach is taken in improving the macroeconomic indicators in consonance with geopolitical factors, the acceptance shall come someday, guaranteed. Achha, when did American dollar became a reserve currency? हाँ? World War II. कौन बोला? NCERT बोला? हाँ. You know what America did? बदमाश कंपनी ना. Simple. World War II में we know the Western European countries were getting devastated by Germany. बजा रहा था तबीयत से. America said, I am ready to give you weapons only and only if you agree to pay back in dollars. A dark pattern was employed by America in forcing those countries to accept dollar as a reserve currency. So this is how dollar was introduced to the world as a reserve currency. But till 71, when Ronald Reagan was the president of America, the acceptance of US dollar was not completely, because the US dollar was supported by gold. It is called gold backed currency, because that time US promised, if somebody deposits $35 with me, I will promise to give an ounce of gold, an ounce of gold. So that is how people started storing the dollars and giving $35 to America to give them ounce of gold. पहले तो he made everybody keep dollar, got people into the cycle of using dollar as an exchange instrument, then gradually removed the gold dimension. Very intelligent country. ठीक है? So we may not be able to do something like that, but we need to build upon our certain factors to improve. So I did not say anywhere that I can. I did not say anywhere I can't. I only try to take a stand based on my dimensions of approach. Now he will understand, yes, my yes is a conditional yes. That only if you try to gain the confidence of the people by improving your, what is MEI? Macroeconomic indicators. And one more dimension, believe me, this also works very well. Diplomacy also works very well in these dimensions. So 7 to 8 points related to 6 to 7 points related to me. There are many other points. You can write so many other points. But believe me, making your currency as international currency is not like any announcement today you have done and by evening it will happen. No, it is a long drawn process. It may take 2 decades or 3 decades or 4 decades of time. ठीक है, but understand the purpose, penultimate purpose. ठीक है, चलो. What is the next question? Sorry. क्या? What is the next question? हाँ, क्या क्या लिखना चाह रहे हो? What do you want to write in criminalization of politics? What is the question? What is the question? Right time to criminalize politics. Hey, right time to criminalize the politics क्या रे? You mean to say you want to give stamp to criminalize the politics? If you are criminal, then only I'll. हाँ, take action against. हाँ तो ऐसा बोलना. You are giving stamp to criminalization of politics. Srinath stood up. I am going to fight the elections. Any other better, more trickier question to write? In these days, policy making is uncertain and not so good. Discuss the reasons. అంటే క్రిమినల్స్ పాలిటిక్స్కి ఎట్లా లింక్ చేస్తున్నావు అంటే వాళ్ళు క్రిమినల్స్ కాబట్టి చేయలేకపోతున్నారు అంటున్నావు. అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్. ఉండరా, నవ్వకండి, చంపేస్తా. దెర్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ నోన్ యాజ్ డెలిగేటెడ్ లెజిస్లేషన్. There is a concept called delegated. For an MP, there is no educational qualification required if you want to become a member of parliament. Even a Anguta chap can become a member of parliament. And your legislation is a very technical job. So can you expect Lalu Prasad to draft a bill? No. So people like you who will get selected will draft a bill. So it is not him who is doing it, it is you who is doing it. So उसमें वो नहीं आएगा फैक्टर. ठीक. हाँ, anybody else question? Go to me. Criminalization of politics. Satyapriya. Criminalization of politics. Discuss how the criminalization of politics affected the democratic functioning in India. ये बोलना चाह रही है? अच्छा, हाँ, आंसर बोलो. इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या लिखोगे? What will you write in intro? नहीं, intro should be on a wider perspective. In perspective to criminals, in perspective to democracy, दोनों link करके try to think something what can come in introduction. Democracy is the larger perspective. हाँ, tell me. See, why did you remove the Britishers in the first place? Huh? They were? So this fellow is also ruling only, no?
No, sir, it was like a monarch approach. It was not democratic.
Okay. So so she is there. She says that the purpose of what we call fighting for our independence was for democracy, right? So you say that one individual has a criminal antecedent. How his induction into the politics is affecting the democracy is the question. Now what will you write in the introduction? अरे क्वेश्चन समझ में आया? माई क्वेश्चन इज, एक क्रिमिनल को अगर आपने पॉलिटिक्स में सीएम बना दिया, हाउ डेमोक्रेसी हैज गॉट नेगेटिवली अफेक्टेड इज माई क्वेश्चन.
No wise democracy.
नो,
Wise means less knowledge, less wise not less prudence less. Ethical knowledge will be less.
एथिक्स को नॉलेज के साथ जोड़ रहे रे इनकी एथिक्स की क्लास होगी तो मजा है. प्रूडेंस, हाँ क्या मतलब है? వాళ్ళని అడగండి సార్, నేను చెప్పలేదు. ఎవరికి తెలీదు? క్రిమినల్కి మంచి తెలుసు, షరీఫోన్కి తెలియదు. Right to right to you mean to say heard in the sense detest basically. Okay, right to protest or detest, whatever it is, or right of how it will be suppressed. Your point is right, I agree. How it will be suppressed? She is right, she has hit the nail on its head, that is the exact point. But my question is how? When you know that your CM is a criminal, this is an example, recording ho raha hai sala and is going live. So I am saying that example mein, when I say your CM, I do not mean the CM of the state where I am taking a class. Your CM, I don't know which your state from, ठीक है? When a person of that authority is a criminal, your trust on democracy is alive or gone? Then why did you vote him? ये माइक के पीछे बैठ के मस्त बात कर रही है. Simple no sir, not that simple. Right. The essence of democracy, write the answer. The essence of democracy is to imbibe the spirit of the essence of democracy is to imbibe, IMBIBE, imbibe the spirit of collective decision making accordance to the will of the mandate, accordance to the will of the mandate, full stop. However, the induction of criminals or people with criminal antecedents will cast a CAST, don't write CASTE, will cast a negative reflection on participative democracy, as the people may not be brave enough either to contest the viewpoint held by the government or recommend a change in a policy decision. Recommend a change in the policy decision. Change the paragraph and write. However, it is the success rate of these individuals with criminal antecedents that is forcing the political parties, that is forcing the political parties to opt for them, to contest as their candidates, Change the paragraph. The silence maintained by ये लिखो the deafening silence, DEAFENING, the deafening silence maintained the judiciary, comma, cosmetic correctional approach by the Election Commission, and the hand in gloves nature of the existing government to bring a policy change, is the real cause of concern, full stop. Change the paragraph and write, if winning an election is the sole purpose of choosing a candidate, if winning an election is the sole purpose of choosing a candidate, comma, then the true spirit of democracy dies on the day of the formation of government, full stop. Gradually the political parties will learn to win the requisite seats to form a government, to fill the requisite seats to form a government, and thereafterwards remain unquestioned due to the very nature of criminal leadership, Change the paragraph and write, in the long run, people start believing in the righteousness of being a criminal to be a leader, This will result in the fading away of ethical values in the society, ethical values in the society full stop, continue to write. The police and other law enforcement agencies will deal with the criminals, will deal with the criminals with a velvet glove, with a velvet glove, assuming them to be tomorrow's leaders, assuming them to be tomorrow's leaders. Change the paragraph, last paragraph, right? Ultimately, comma, ultimately this will endanger the very genesis of embracing democracy as the form of governance. Wherein democratic values will be limited to only procedural formalities before the elections. Before the elections. कितने वर्ड्स हो गए अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 150 to 170 words. Yes or no? हाँ, any, see, understand mains, no? Here comes the idea of I did not give you any factual information. You need to bring in elements of RPI to control this, to keep an eye on this. Judiciary is also there, election commission is also there, your what you call representation of people act is there, model code of conduct is there. Try to bring in some factual information also. I try to give you an answer purely on opinion perspective. How to, because the question is asking how the criminalization of politics will affect the democratic functioning of India. Okay? So from that perspective, I try to touch upon certain, what you call dimensions of functioning. Anybody having any questions, they can ask. If not, we can take a final break. एक second. What type of questions UPSC asks for 10 marks and 15 marks? What type मतलब? ऐसा कोई type नहीं है. Understand? See, listen. UPSC knows किस question के ऊपर 250 marks लिखा जा सकता है. Understand this. Generally, you will see a question where there are multiple sub questions. They only will get 250 marks, 250 words and 15 marks. Where the question is direct and single statement based question, you will generally get for 10 marks only, because you get only 2 pages to write. Where it wants to check the interconnectedness of issues from you, that is where it will go for 15 marker question. Maybe a concept is linked to current affairs, maybe technology is related to economy, maybe what you call environment is related to agriculture, maybe a historical outcome is related to something else. So where it wants to check the interconnectedness of issues, he will ask you multiple sub questions within a question and give it for 15 marks. Where it wants to straight away this thing, then it will give it for 10 marks. The same question can be asked for 10 marks and 20 marks. If I ask you, has India failed to ensure criminalization of politics? Suggest ways ahead. Or what is the Law Commission of India's report on criminalization of politics? What is Supreme Court guidelines on criminalization of politics? So this is where I am trying to test your conceptual knowledge on criminalization and also certain factual information related to it. So that is how it will diversify. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि ये चैप्टर से इतने नंबर का आना है, ऐसा कहीं भी नहीं. ठीक है? या एनी अदर